If you were told there is a shop somewhere within your reach and very affordable and friendly that you can go and purchase a personality or a character of very successful people around, you hear or you see around, and you be such a person, very successful, will you set foot in such a shop? If you set foot in such a shop, have you thought of such a character? What character could have you developed if you were to be given such opportunity? And now I have come to tell you that there is a possibility of such a shop to exist. And you are not going to incur the physical cost outside yourself. Such a shop exists within self that you can build to be the person you need to be in this life. That you can get inside the self, think of the person you want to be, and you start building the characters in some disciplines to be such a person. What if I told you, if you understand the principles that I am going to share with you, you will understand life better, have a different life, and live a completely changed life? What if you knew by listening to understand these principles, you are going to have systems that are going to give you the real success you need? You can have the plans, the working plans under the goals you have to achieve the results you need to live a life you've dreamt for a long time. So in this class, we are going to engage and grow together as we begin the journey of the discovery of your purpose and actualization, as you understand life better and live a fulfilling life. In this class, you are going to reset your belief, to reset your virtues, to reset your values, and understand life better, to raise your standards to the ultimate goal of your purpose, to reach your potential, to understand the possibilities of things and imaginations so that you can live the life you want to live. And if at a point you live the life you really need, you will bring joy, success, and happiness in your life. You will bring the freedoms you really need to be in a life, in a happy life, where wisdom and understanding leads your steps, and where wisdom and understanding leads your way. You don't drift through life. You just lead the steps where wisdom and understanding leads your way, and you'll be very successful in life. Where wisdom and understanding leads your way, you lead to a definite destination, that is success. Because every step is done and every decision is done by wisdom, and now you find yourself leading a very successful life. So I want to lead you through that shop to purchase by yourself the things you need to lead a very successful life. Because a life off course without wisdom and understanding, you lead off course life, and out of purpose, you drift through life like Jonah until you come back to purpose, where things can work your way. You know, Jonah knew his purpose. He tried to go out of it, to cut corners through life. And he was swallowed into more problems until he came back to purpose, where things started working in his way. I had drifted on the other side of purpose, trying to force laws of success to work on my way. I had drifted. The more I applied the laws to work off purpose, the more I was swallowed into more problems, into deeper problems, until I decided to come back to purpose, where things can work. Out of purpose is a hard life. It's a hard life. It's a life you can never wish to live. Because you shall be working, seeing things as if they are working, but in the middle of where you feel like you've seen light, you get drowned and swallowed into more problems until you come back to purpose, where self can be working in harmony. Then things can start working your way. Once you understand your purpose, you must come back to where you can work in harmony with self so that things can work. But once you start forcing things to work on your side, you find that you are leading yourself into deeper and deeper problems. Deliberate sins can lead to definite distractions, nothing less. If you plant corn, expect to reap corn you planted, nothing less. And if you plant the seeds of success on the fertile soil of purpose, you will sure harvest great results. You might be working so hard, like me, so hard to force things to work, but you never see the results reflecting your hard work. To most people like me, if it's working hard, they really work hard. There is no doubt on that. They put effort after effort in everything they do, but the results doesn't reflect their hard work. You remain gravitating successful people of lesser qualifications than you, doing the same things you failed severally until you've given up. And sometimes they seem not to put as much effort as you, but they become very successful. And you ask yourself, why me? Because out of purpose, you must ask yourself such a question. Why me? That is the only thing you can be asking out of purpose. We are going to see how you can be working out of purpose, expecting things to work, but they don't. So you remain asking yourself questions in this life that doesn't have answers. Why are things not working out for me, irrespective of the effort I put, irrespective of the application of the principles of success, the laws of success? Why then things are not working out for me? Putting effort after effort with patience and humility, but things doesn't work out to my expectations. And the people of lesser qualifications, even they don't even put more effort as me, as I do, they are very successful. And you end up asking yourself a lot of questions that you end up losing interest of life. You lose interest of working hard to get the life you need. Because when you check your life and you check the acronym of SMART in work, you find that you've applied all the principles and now things doesn't work out the way you expect. The goals are viable, executable plans, and then you set yourself into executing, into doing, into action, but things doesn't work. And you end up asking yourself many questions that doesn't have answers in this life. I have been on these receiving ends. I am here to tell you this truth. Hard work doesn't equal to success. Executable plans doesn't equal to success. But purpose, discipline, working plans can guarantee you great success. These three added with persistence, you must persist in something to get full results of a process. Then you are guaranteed of full success in every endeavor. Harvesting is reserved for those who plant. And if you plant on these things, if you plant on purpose, persistence, discipline, then you can for sure reap great in this life. Working on purpose gives a fulfilling life. You live a happy life when you work on purpose, irrespective of the stage of life you are. Working on purpose gives a happy life, a fulfilling life. Now, how can one work on purpose? That is now the core point that we are going to delve and see how you can work on purpose to have the characters you need to lead a happy life. To work on purpose, you must first understand your life. By understanding your life, you understand what you believe in. Your beliefs will guide you on understanding what is possible in your life. You need wisdom and understanding to think properly through your life. Once you have a clear understanding of your life, you have a clear understanding of what you believe in, what you believe that is possible in your life, then you are at a point of going for success. You are at a point of leading a successful life. Once you understand yourself, you understand what you believe in, then that is the opening door for a successful life. When God gave Solomon a chance to choose what he wished for in his life, Now Solomon was given a chance to walk in the shop of purpose, to pick whatever he wanted, was given a chance to walk in that shop to purchase something valuable in his life. When Solomon was given that chance to set foot in such a shop to purchase what he wanted in his life, Solomon walked in that shop majestically, confidently, and Solomon chose wisdom and understanding. He didn't go for fame, he didn't go for wealth, he didn't go for power to grip tight on the throne. Solomon walked around, did window shopping in that shop, and he found valuable things which were wisdom and understanding. Solomon understood his life. He understood the task he was having, and he understood what could make his life successful in the throne. He had assumed the throne as a young man, and as a young man he could have asked for fame and wealth. But he understood properly his life, and he understood by wisdom and understanding you conquer mighty powers, and nothing is impossible with wisdom and understanding. And in that shop he picked the things that were of importance for his own life. And that is what we are going to see, how you can get in a shop and purchase the things that can help you in your life to be a successful person that you wish to be. And once you are given a chance to be in that shop, pick things that are going to help you to lead a successful life. Things that are not fleeting, things that endures. And like Solomon, you pick things that are going to help you in your situation, in the situation you are in, things that can help you build the life you need to be happy. So by understanding his life, he chose good things that were of help to lead a successful life. And by that wisdom and understanding, he conquered everything until he is the man that everybody can wish to be. So Solomon asked for a developed mind, and he asked the ability to make good use of a developed mind. So you can be a very knowledgeable person but make very unwise decisions. So Solomon asked for a developed mind and the ability to make good use of the developed mind. You can be very knowledgeable, but without wisdom, you make very unwise decisions. In Matthew chapter 7, Jesus talks of a story of two knowledgeable men in building a house. They made two different decisions that exposed the importance of wisdom in man. One built his house on a firm foundation, on a rock, on a strong foundation. The tides raised, the storms blew, the currents blew, but the house withstood all those strong forces of destruction. The other man decided to build his house on fast sand, and great was its destruction. You must well understand your life. You must well understand your situation and make wise decisions to help you in your life. You might be crying of the results of success, but if you can't build the systems to give you the success you need, things can never work your way. The joy you need, the freedom you need, the happiness you need, the wealth you need, all are built under the systems that can work to give you those things. Those are the results of systems built to give them. Because like happiness, if you can't build the system on the platform of the now and the gratitude, you can never find happiness. If you can't build the systems to give you the wealth you need out of the systems so that you can sell the services to people and receive in return the successful systems that works to give you the results out of the working systems, then the return is the result you need. And once you understand that these things you need are built on the systems that works properly, you cannot work towards wealth and riches and you expect to find happiness in it. You shall be building all of them concurrently because happiness is built on a different platform from wealth. So you cannot build happiness and wealth on the same platform. Once you understand this, you know that these are the results that are brought out of the systems, out of the successful systems built, out of wisdom and understanding. Then you know that if you need happiness, where to get it. If you need wealth, where to find it. If you need joy and freedom, how to build those systems to receive the results you need in your life. And having the wisdom and understanding, you must learn, you must strive to look for where to find this knowledge. You must learn, you must set yourself out to learn and know things. Once you find a chance to learn, develop your mind, know everything you can. Knowing is the process of getting full knowledge. You know, knowledge has two parts. The first part stands for knowing, and the second part for action. First part is know, and the second part is lake. It's pronounced as now lake. The first part of knowledge, which is know, means to know. The second part, which is lake, means action or process. So the full understanding of knowledge is to know an action or process. If you have knowledge, you must have action in it. If you do not have an action, then you've not gained the full knowledge, or the full meaning of knowledge has not applied in you. So if you have knowledge, you must have an action in it. That is the full understanding of knowledge. So the full understanding of knowledge is to know an action or process. If you have no action, then you've known only one part of knowledge, that is to know. And if you learn to know, you have no action for it, for whatever you've known, then that is where the problem starts. But if you develop your mind, a developed mind always finds a solution. You can find a solution of a developed mind. There is no way knowledge can be without an action. There is no way. If you have knowledge, the full knowledge in it, it means you are in action of what you've known. If you are not in action, then you can never talk of knowledge. Then you have just known something. You've known something. And this knowing has not materialized into an action. Once you start an action, then we talk of complete knowledge. You've known and you've processed that into an action and the systems that can work to give the full meaning of knowledge. Knowledge is valuable. This is something the wisest man ever lived on earth asked from God, and God was pleased with that, and he blessed him in plenty of it, and he was the man that has never ever lived again. So knowledge, the full understanding of knowledge, is something that must have an action in it. So if you have an action, you have some knowledge. If you have full knowledge, then you have actions, you have processes, you have systems, you build anything that comes across your mind. Because always it develops into full knowledge that you have known, and you have known the actions of that what you've known. So once you have a chance to learn, don't complain of the systems, don't complain of the syllabi. Once you have a chance to receive, to know, to learn, just learn and know everything you can, as much as you can. Learn, develop your mind if that is the only chance you have, without complaint, because if you complain, you will never reach the destination. You will end up circumnavigating around success, and you will never get in to enjoy the fruits of success when it comes to knowledge and the seeking of that knowledge. What you know will affect you positively if you use it effectively. What you don't know can affect you negatively, because naive is not bliss. So if you touch a live wire, you will be electrocuted whether you know or you don't know. So by not knowing has not excused you from the calamities. So learn to know if you have a chance to learn. Jesus himself grew up in a carpentry workshop. He learned workshop from childhood to adulthood. Perhaps he attained a master's and a PhD in carpentry. But he didn't end up to be a carpenter. We've never seen the cupboards Jesus made. but he grew up as a carpenter, attaining PhD and a master's in carpentry. He had developed the mind, and he allowed to develop the mind because that was the syllabus of his life, and he had the chance to learn on that. So he learned to develop the mind in whatever he had his hands on. And that is why God says, whatever you find your hands holding on to do it with all your mind, with all your strength, with all your heart, because you are developing how to use your developed mind after that one is another thing. But once you have a chance to develop, learn, develop. So Jesus developed in carpentry workshop, attaining PhD and masters in that line of carpentry, but he ended up planning people, resizing people to fit into the kingdom. He never went to make the cupboards and the chairs. He didn't get back to school to learn on how to make people understand their lives. No, the mind had already developed. It's like having masters in an area of life. You are deemed to be a knowledgeable man, all-round knowledgeable man, and you can be put to use in different ways of life. And that is how Jesus Christ ended up not planning good for making furniture, but using the knowledge, using the developed mind to plan and resize people to fit into the kingdom of heaven. If you doubt, if you need, you can try him now and give him your heart and say the things you want to be in life with all your strength and faith and with all your knowledge and your consciousness of what you want to be, and give it a try. He will plan you smooth, square you and resize you until you fit in the exact position you want. The first 4 disciples of Jesus, Simon and Andrew, James and John, the sons of Zebedee, these men were fishermen. They had learned on fishing from their childhood to adulthood. And even them, perhaps they attained PhD and masters in fishing. Their graduation in fishing field trapped them. They fixed their mind in fishing in the ocean. They almost wasted their life in fishing, in putting their highly developed mind in the wrong use, because that is what they had learned. But their life was not made to be in fishing. They wasted their life in the wrong use of a highly developed mind, in doing unuseful things with that mind. With all their masters and PhD in fishing, they toiled throughout the night and they found no catch. They had no catch throughout the night. With all the experience they had in fishing, they went out without any throughout the night. They were again preparing to go back to the same routine when Jesus rescued them from the trap of graduation. It's clear that these men had fixed their mind in fishing, even if it had no good results in them, because we've seen they were there throughout the night and they had no single catch. And now Jesus came to rescue them and tell them, you simply have a developed mind. And your developed mind, it's not fixed in whatever you've gone through in class. It has a different use. It has many uses in different ways out of your field of the certificate. So the certificate was used as a trapping chain, as the chain to trap them, to hold them hostage in the thing that they had no success in, on the thing that they could not find the fruits of their labor, of their hard work. Jesus had to rescue them. And when Jesus offered a solution, when Jesus offered a solution of their good use of their highly developed mind, they left the net there on the spot and followed Jesus without complaint. They had experienced it. Without complaint, they left the net there on the spot and followed Jesus to do the work of their calling. They left the net on the spot and released their minds from the chains of fishing in the ocean to go and fish men. directing men on their course of purpose, directing men on their course of life, directing men to the kingdom, and find their way through life and find their destinies. And they were very successful in directing men and women in the line of their life. Your highly developed mind in anything you've mastered, it can be put to use in anything in life. It can bring you spectacular results. It's a profound power. A highly developed mind has a profound power in making things work if put in the right use. Leave the nets of captivity and follow your heart. Go where your heart tells you. Go where your spirit tells you and guides you to be. Where you can find great joy and success, and you do things with all passion and succeed. And once you find that niche, that field where you can work with joy and happiness, work with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your powers, without supervision, in teamwork, and excel beyond the points you can imagine. That is learning to understand yourself. If you put your mind in the right use, is learning to understand self. Once you understand yourself, you cannot waste your time in things that doesn't work. You get back inside of yourself, you walk through that workshop and shop and get the right ingredients to make your life straight. Because once life is not going straight, and life is very straight, it doesn't have corners. You cannot never cut corners through life. Once you put yourself straight, your life straight, everything you work on gets straight results that can give you the success you need. And the decisions you make out of those things are the decisions of success. Once you learn to understand your life, you can't move aimlessly through life. You can't drift. You move through a specific direction, and that direction you find yourself on the points of success. You build working plans on your dreams you have, and you find the driving force to success and the systems that can work to give you the success you need to live a happy life. So anchor yourself in learning to develop your mind, to know things. And on top of knowing, developing your mind, ask for wisdom to make use of your developed mind. That one will give you a success. I graduated as an architect. I strived hard to learn everything and know everything, understand everything in the field of architecture. I wanted freedom, happiness, wealth, and I worked to ensure I have those things in the field of architecture. Architecture is a field that if success comes your way, you will be a very rich person. So I worked to understand everything in the field of architecture. I was expecting to fix foundations of buildings, to fix people's problems in structure building, in buildings. I fixed my mind there for a long time. Little did I know that my highly developed mind in fixing foundations of building the field, I was to come to fix the foundations of people who have lost hope in life, to return the firm foundations in life, in people's lives, to know, to understand where they stand on, what they should do to build their lives to reach their destinies. And I am here to tell you, don't fix your mind in things that doesn't work for you. Your mind has different usefulness in different fields. Only you get inside yourself, learn your values, and put yourself in good use in this life. Life of purpose is crippling. A successful life must be built on purpose. And it must be built on purpose with wisdom and understanding. You have the understanding and you have the wisdom to make good decisions out of life, to make good things that can work for you and others involved in your circle. Because in this life you must do things that to save to solve people's problems or to solve some problem within society. And if you solve the problems and the people get satisfied, in return it's the success and the joy and the happiness you need in this life. To build a successful life is like building a big house for you to live in it. And for you to build a house that works for you, that serves your purpose, you must put every system in the right place in proper ways. Because a complete house has different systems and complicated systems. So if you need to build that house, you must be knowledgeable in placing the systems in their rightful use, in their right places, in every point in that house. If life is like a house and you want to build that house to serve you, you must be knowledgeable in understanding the plans. You must have the guidelines, you must have the plans, and you must be knowledgeable to understand the plans for you to put every system in its right place. God says in Proverbs chapter 24, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." You need wisdom and understanding to build your life to a success, if at all you need success. A house is built from the foundations up to roof, step by step to finishes, and everything put in its right use and position. And like a house that if you jump some steps without clear understanding of the guidelines, it will crumble down and never serve the intended purpose. Also, life without clear understanding will crumble down and never reach the intended success. Many people have lost hope in doing what's necessary to build their lives to a success. They've lost hope in doing what's necessary to bring joy, happiness, and freedom, all that they need to lead a happy life, to lead a successful life. They've totally and completely failed to work on purpose, and now they are drifting through life, hoping things will work on their life, hoping things will work on their way, hoping things will get better in their lives. They continue on the negative side of life throughout their life. They continue on hopes, on hoping things will work better, and they continue in that way throughout their life. And once your life is totally in a mess, completely drifting without direction, losing every hope, all hoping for things that doesn't work on your way, putting effort after effort, but things doesn't work your way, and you live on the negative side of life, and the forces that leads you to your own destruction, until you come back to purpose where things can work on your way. With lost hope in life, you give room for life to control you. You give room for circumstances to control you. You give room for others to control you. And once life is controlling you, you pick anything it throws at you without objection. You pick wrong things in life that doesn't help you to live a successful life. And once you give room in all those things, people, circumstances, and life to control you, you lead a life with fear and doubt. And fear and doubt kills knowledge and beclouds wisdom. And now you lead a life in a vacuum that you cannot see where to go. You cannot see the direction of your life. You lead a life of luck and a chance. You do things as life is throwing to you things and picking without objection. You now work by luck and a chance. If they work, if they don't, then you just push through life drifting without the direction, without the clear direction where you want to be, where you want to go. Anxiety leads you away. Stress comes in, depression comes in because things doesn't work on your way, on your side. And you end up losing patience in everything, in all your endeavors. And once you lose patience, then you can never expect anything good out of life. Patience makes you remain on things until they work, or until you get final results for you to confirm their workability, all their weaknesses, or anything that you can observe from the results you get out of the processes you carry on to make your life successful. Then in this situation, you can never undertake anything substantial that can give you good results, that can give you the life you need. And if you can't carry on things that you are proud they can give you something good out of them, joy and happiness and success becomes a story to give throughout your life. How you tried the things, how they never worked. But irrespective of all these things, there is hope, there is joy, there is hope in life. That irrespective of how long life has controlled you, irrespective of how long you've tried things, irrespective of how things have not worked on your way, there is hope that things can work if you decide. And the decision you can take is simply understanding your life, understanding your values, understanding your beliefs, and you start building on them. Nothing more, nothing less. Understanding your life is understanding your values, understanding your beliefs. Once you understand your beliefs, those are the working principles. Those are the things that are very possible in your life. The things you think are possible in your life are the belief system you make for yourself as an individual, and you work on that. That is the starting point of knowing what success is. And in the end, you will at least read the life on the joys of this world, on the happiness. You will read life on the platform of happiness and freedom, and at least you see something good out of this life, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the time you've taken. At least there is hope that you can read was not to be fixed in that on the platform of good life. You will use it to go through life from the negative side. But with this hope of understanding yourself, simply knowing what you like, what you know, what you understand best, what you do with joy and happiness, and then you will suddenly start leading a successful life from the positive side of things. Then you ask for strength and persistence on top of knowledge and wisdom in understanding your values. Then you go through life a successful person. Now, understanding that, how can you achieve working on purpose? How can you achieve to work on purpose to lead a successful life? That is now the point. We shall again delve to know how you can work on purpose, to understand how you can know yourself and the values you have, the principles you live by, so that you start knowing, making the beliefs that can guide you in knowing the things you shall try in this life. To understand this, you have to understand how your life runs on the standard timeline for the transition of human life. This is the theory I have made out of my studies to give to you the knowledge of your life, to understand your life better, so that you start working on things that can work to give you the system, the working systems, to give you the exact results you need to be very successful in life. So to understand your life, you must understand how your life runs on the standard timeline for the transition of human life. And by understanding this, in my next lesson, I am going to teach you step by step on how your life runs on the standard timeline for the transition of human life, and from there you will fully understand your life, understand the platform you are working from, the platform you are standing on, understand the events in your life. And once you understand all this, from there you will research and find self. And if you find self, sure, success is your birthright. And may God bless you as you anticipate to see me in the next class to teach you how your life runs on the standard timeline for the transition of human life.